Hey guys, this is Gary here from Not Again Podcast. Welcome to my show. Welcome to my podcast. All right, welcome back. For those who have started listening, welcome. If you're new, all right, and I hope you guys enjoy your stay here. All right, before I start, I would like to plug in a show. Right, I'm not sure that that's okay because seems like my second time talking to you guys under Not Again Podcast. So I'll like to tell you that I'll like to plug in this little show called I'm in this improv troupe in Singapore called the Latecomers, and we'll be performing in the Singapore Comedy Fringe this year. It's our first time ever perform in the Singapore Comedy Fringe. All right, it's the first time. All right, and I am in this troupe along with a few stand-up comics and a few improv comedy. We stand-up comics and improv comedy players. This is the first time where we come together and try to do improv, right? And I think that there's a different dynamic in stand-up and in improv. Or I'm not saying that maybe either one of them is superior, but all I'm trying to say is it's different. All right, it's very different from both of them. All right, like just stand-up comics, we tend to have something to say. It's individual perception, it's individual point of view. All right, but you have improv where you get to talk to people, where we get to go do a scene with other players, with other people. There's a collaboration there. All right, that's one of the major difference in improv and stand up, right? So we'll be performing, right? The dynamic, it's kind of cool. I've watched them play. I've been with the latecomers for a lot of times now. All right, and it's gonna be a fun show to be in. Right, we'll be performing at the Esplanade NX Studio. Right, it's a black box in the Esplanade Theatre. For those who don't know, is the big art thing in Singapore. It's a tourist attraction, I guess. It's like Sydney Opera House in Sydney. Alright. The Esplanade Theatre is in Singapore. That's the best thing I can relate to. Alright. It's a place where you can bring a date over. Is that like a good explanation? Right? You guys are gonna get laughter. Alright, you guys can see what we're going to do on the spot based on your suggestions. All right, that's what's so cool, right? As an improv in an improv troupe, it'll be fun. All right, it will be at 29th of April, 3 p.m. All right, you guys can get your tickets at SingaporeComedyFringe.com. It's SGComedyFringe.com, or you can just search for Singapore Comedy Fringe in Google, and we can lead you there. All right, you can go to a page and you can buy the tickets. Right, you will cost only $20. All right, like I say, it's the 29th of April. It's a Saturday. All right, so it will be at 3 p.m. Okay, so what happened? So okay, now what happened to you guys? Right? Do you guys get a good weekend? You guys get a good week? I had an okay week. I don't. It feels like there's a lot of things that I want to get off my chest. There's a lot of things that we kind of want to talk about, right? And this week, I had a chat with. Okay, maybe we'll talk about this. I had a chat with one of my friend. With a friend. We talk about falling in love. We talk about being vulnerable. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing. I'm not sure whether that's okay to be because how should I say? Okay, we had a chat about being vulnerable, and we had a chat about being falling in love, because I'm not sure that being a 27-year-old guy, alright, it's okay. Is it like normal to not have any relationship before, like a relationship at all? I don't even have a casual relationship before, right? And I'm not sure whether that's normal. Is it because that I can't read someone's flirting, or I'm not sure whether I'm putting myself out there as a proper person who doesn't know how to put myself out there. I'm not sure whether I am that kind of guy. And then we have kind of talked about, right. I'm not sure whether it's okay. I have a bit about this that I wouldn't really put it out so much out there, but I have stories about interacting with prostitutes, right? And I have that kind of stories. I haven't went to do a transaction with a prostitute. I haven't done that, but I have my interactions with them, right? Because I travel regularly, all right, and there are times that you have ventured into somewhere you don't know, and you realize that, hey, and there'll be a girls, and there'll be girls, working girls that come walk in and say, hey, do you want in parts of Asia, in different countries, will ask if you want a certain kind of service, and it ends up, and you realize that, oh, maybe she's a working girl, she's a prostitute, right? And I have interactions with them, I have stories with them, and I haven't been into a relationship before. I haven't dated anyone before, all right, in any way, in any form, right? I'm not a good looking guy. I'm not a guy that people that I have female friends, all right, but I have friends who, but I don't date any of them. Right? I'm not sure why. I think it's because of being I like to think there's a compatibility issue, right? But there are times that I don't know how to read flirting language as well, body language as well, or is it because I'm just too afraid to put myself out there? All right. Like I said, I have stories about prostitutes, like interaction with prostitutes, but I don't have a relationship. I don't date anyone. I haven't dated anyone. And this kind of afraid. This kind of make me scared. Like what happens if at the end of at the end, all right, the girl, the prostitute, it's the destiny of my love life, or she's like the boss in every game of my love life, right? She's the one that I goes to. It's kind of scary because, and it's very scary. If you have problem, you don't go to the therapist. You don't set up an appointment with a therapist immediately. I myself, I think that I'll go through. I'll set up my issue myself first. Then I'll go to my family or friends. Then after that, I'll go travel maybe. Alright, but that's where the progression goes, right? Like if you bring the whole situation into dating world, into my own, if I bring the whole situation into my own love life, I want to try to find girls that I want to date with, all right. And I've tried all sorts of stuff, like maybe online dating and all kind of stuff. And I don't want to venture to a prostitute yet. Like I don't want my end game to be a prostitute yet, because I don't want it to be the end of the game there, right? And it sounds kind of sad, all right, to as a guy, in order to find intimacy in any form, right, I have to go to prostitute to find that intimacy. Yeah, I don't know whether is an okay thing to say that. But like I said, I haven't dated anyone before, right? I really want. I love that my time will come. All right. I'm hoping that maybe a relationship will happen. All right. But it's kind of scary to put yourself out there. Right. It's kind of. I'm okay to put myself in a vulnerable state in on stage. I can put I'm okay with that. I'm okay to tell you the darkest secret thought and on stage, because at least because I know that I have control on stage, all right? At least that's what I think I have, right? I think I may have control on stage, right? I can say whatever I want, but to be able to open up to someone and have a proper conversation and to be, I'm just afraid that maybe things will happen, things will go wrong, and I don't know whether it's okay for that to happen. I'm afraid that, hey, maybe there'll be no one else there left, right? Is it okay to do that? Is it okay to say that? All right, I don't know, man, but yeah, talking about vulnerability, I guess that's a good segue, right? But yeah, but talking about vulnerability, I would like to introduce you the guest for this episode. Kristel Zweers. Kristel Zweers is a comic that based in Holland or Netherlands. I think Holland is part of Netherlands. All right, so I think Netherlands is a proper word if I don't know where exactly that she's based in. Like I don't know exactly where she's based in. All right, so yeah, I'm talking to Kristel. I talked to Kristel. She's a friend of mine. She's a lovely friend of mine. All right. And we talk about how she goes up on stage, how she become a comic, right? What's my impression of her, and because she came from a place. She came from a place that she is very open. That sexuality is being very open, right? Drugs are decriminalized, right? We all know about Amsterdam. We all know about the Netherlands and Amsterdam, right? And you have, and me coming from Singapore, an Asian country, we have a very conservative mindset, conservative upbringing, all right? And gay rights is considered things like gay rights. It's considered very controversial. Right, it's scary. It's scary for us to even see, to even see naked woman on stage, like half naked woman. Like if beauty pageants on TV, it's already, you're bordering the edge of the cliff, right? That's considered bordering the edge of the cliff when it may or may not be controversial, right? Because there's a bikini, like a girl wearing a bikini on stage. That I don't know. It feels like that has what it became. All right, we don't show Miss Universe Singapore and on TV anymore. All right, it's been a long time since I saw Miss Universe Singapore on TV. They have a live. They put it as a live show. They put it as a live event, and yeah. So she coming from a point of view of being of a country that's so open that nudity is okay, to Singapore where nudity is considered is touchy, right? Topics like gay rights are being put down all the time, right? That we talk that how she's here, right? And we talk about being vulnerable. We talk about being open on stage. I'm okay with being vulnerable, and I like comics, and I like shows that talk about being vulnerable on stage. We talk about how she perceives as being vulnerable, how she perceives in shows that makes her. I don't know. I love her stuff. That is what I'm trying to say. I love her stuff. I had a friend. I had a fun talk with her. Alright, it's very fun to listen to her and to see like what her perspective or her point of view is. Alright, and she's a very lovely person to talk to. Alright, so do check her. Do listen to her. Do listen to this episode and do check her out. If on YouTube, I believe there's videos of her. I'm not sure where in Dutch. I'm not sure whether there's like English videos, but yeah, do find her out. Her name is Kristel Zweers. Right. I think she has a Facebook page as well. If there is, I'm gonna put it on on the description. Right, do check it out. All right. So yeah, this is Not Again podcast with Kristel Zweers. Yeah, hey, enjoy. I don't know whether this will sound correct. I guess this is the start of anything. I don't know. Oh yeah, but yeah. I think the best way to start is my first impression of you, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really anxious to find out.
Actually, but when I first see you on stage, I'm kind of very uncomfortable when I see you on stage. Because you did the joke about the difference between the Singapore TV and Amsterdam TV
Okay,
late
yeah.
at night, and your pussycat slut bit, and yeah, I'm not sure where to look at that point of time.
Okay, is that a good thing, right? That's I made you uncomfortable, Gary. Wow. So that's why it took you 3 years to invite me to come talk to you.
No, as in, I can talk to you off stage, but when I watch you on stage, okay, am I supposed to be here? Am I? All right, so I'm here. We're getting into trouble.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay, no, that's good to know. That's sweet actually that you say so. Is that just you, or do you think?
I think it's just me though.
Okay.
I'm hoping that it is just me because I grew up from a very Asian family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like last night's show where there's someone who raised the point where if you know that where there's a sex scene going on and everyone in the family will feel very uncomfortable. Yeah, that's what happened when I see you on stage. You're like,
Even if your mom is not there,
Yeah.
you're still comfortable just by yourself. How do you watch porn, Gary?
I know. When I watch porn, I zone out. I know that something happen will be something will happen.
Yeah, and it's appropriate.
yeah.
Like you expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I'm
but-
inappropriate in a place where I shouldn't be.
Oh, because it's live, and I go, it's like, I don't know. When I watch porn, there's a commitment there, right?
Yeah.
And I watch you, I'm like, okay, you're not committing anything. Okay, I'm not supposed to be there.
I'm glad you feel commitment between you and your porn, Gary. I hope she's not cheating on you.
No, isn't because I know that she's
I
going.
understand what you're saying. Yeah, no, I just think it's funny, but it's honest. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's I'm sorry, but it's yeah, I like it in a way to make you feel comfortable. Yeah. I'm gonna come up with new material just because you're getting used to this one now, right? So I'm gonna think of something new that makes you uncomfortable again. Then I know I'm on the right track.
I've watched a lot of horrible stuff. You need a lot more to. you need to have a lot more to scare me right now.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
Okay. That's a challenge, Gary. I'm gonna take that one on.
I know, but are you that open doing that on stage? Doing like
Yeah, I have no problems with that at all.
Mhm.
And as I said yesterday on the stage as well, like with porn, like it's in Dutch, it's really in Holland, it's not an issue. Of course, it's personal, and some people feel it's too personal, or some people feel like this sex, yeah, you shouldn't be talking about. Of course, there's always differences. It's not that everyone in Holland is like just as at ease as I am, but I don't have a problem with it. No, actually, I don't know. I think it's an interesting subject because we all do it, right? We all have sex, or we want to at least, and so sex is something, and there's just a lot to be said about. It's I think there's a lot of insecurities around sex as well that we can just like that. I hope sometimes by joking about it. At the same, I'm not trying to teach anyone, but I'm actually hoping to make people feel more comfortable about their insecurities about sex by showing them that I'm not sure as well, or that guys have always been doing things wrong, whatever, I don't know.
yeah, but when I see you, I think sex is something you need to feel vulnerable. When I
Yeah.
when I see you on stage, I'm not sure whether I'm that fast or I'm that comfortable to be so vulnerable so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, is it the right thing to do here? I mean, where should I set my eyes onto? Because I'm like, okay, I don't want to make the girl feel uncomfortable. I don't want.
Yeah.
Even when I'm talking, right?
Well, it's all about how you feel about it. If you're not comfortable talking about it, the whole audience is gonna feel that and it's gonna be tensed about it. But if I don't have an issue, I think that's the biggest thing because it's not an issue for me. A lot of people are okay with it, except for you.
I'm
but
actually
no,
okay with it.
but I do feel because first of all, when I moved to Singapore, of course there was like some kind of in the back of my mind, like, okay, how are they gonna respond to sexual material? Because it's not a really Asian thing to talk about sex. But I have never actually felt that there was any resistance towards it, and I think that is because I'm comfortable talking about it, so there's no need for people to feel tensed or.
I'm not sure whether this is true about me, but when I see something that's physically like, because there's when you do it,
Yeah.
there's a physical part of it.
Yeah.
That I'm not comfortable. Sometimes I'm not okay. I need some time to get myself
yeah.
like in the zone.
And then I'm gone already.
Yeah. So, but I think talking about it is okay. I've talked a lot about stuff like
Yeah.
yeah.
But visualizing it at the same time is yeah. Yeah, I do feel a little bit more. People do respond to that differently than in Holland for sure. Yeah, but it doesn't stop me. It becomes more fun to do so. I've never been out of like. It's never been my goal to shock people or do something that, to scare them or whatever. But it is a funny side to material that if people do get a little bit uncomfortable, it adds to it actually. Yeah, I do like it because there's also a tension. Because comedy in a way is all about like building up a tension and relief, right? So if I build up the tension with my presence or my physical movements during some material, then I know that tension also has to relieve at some point. So it's actually building up to hopefully a bigger laugh.
Yeah, I can see that, but it's just like, okay, so I should get ready to see where's he? Okay, Kristel is up there. All right, okay, this bit will go up. All right, the Pussycat doll bit will go up. All right, okay, I should. I know, but is the story behind true, or is it just like a sort of like a half true, half?
No, it's a true story as well. It's the story about my ex-boyfriend cheating on me. Yeah, that's definitely a true story. And that ex-boyfriend didn't used to be. He was a comedian as well. And the funny thing about it was actually that I came up with the bit. Like, we did stay together after him cheating on me. I didn't break up with him after that. And I came up with this bit about it. So I did that on stage. And he came up with a bit about how he's been found out to be cheating and how his wife or his girlfriend responded to that. And I did my bit like I didn't give a shit if he was there or who was there. I would just give my side of the story. Or at least like, it's funny, right? But he would never dare to do his bit of material about me. And of course it's like, I know it's not me, but he made this funny story about how his girlfriend reacted to his to finding out about his cheating, and he never dared to say to do that material when I was around. And at one point, about one of the first times that he did it, actually, a friend of mine who's also a colleague was in the room watching that one, and I remember her coming. Like, I saw her 2 or 3 days after, and she was like, "Oh fuck, I saw Martijn." That was his name, right? I saw Martijn last Saturday, and he was rocking, he was killing it. He had this new bit about how he cheated on his girlfriend, and it was like fucking hilarious. Oh fuck! Oh, it's you! Oh, sorry. And I was like, "No, it's okay. I want to hear it now." But I talked about it, like, there was one time we shared the stage and I was actually performing after him, and it would always be the other way around because he was like a headliner already when I started doing comedy. But by that time I'd become a headliner as well, and we were booked and he was performing before me. He was closing first half and I was headlining the show. And I actually asked him, because I was going to do this bit and there was going to be a lot of friends of us in the room because it was like in our hometown. And I told him, like, please don't be ashamed. I really am dying to find out your material. Please do it now, because it's just gonna be fun. Because it was I think both of our best show ever, because he did this bit and I could actually call back on him and just yeah. Because in his bit, all the girls go a little bit like, "Oh, you're an asshole," but you're funny at the same time. And then I come up and I'm actually the girlfriend that he cheated on, and all the women go like, "What the fuck?" And he's here as well. So it added to, like, we were actually been thinking a long time, like Sharul and Rishi, how they did a show together. Like, we should have done a show together as well, but we never made a whole show. Yeah.
I think it's because it's like a double.
That was a long story, right?
Yeah.
And did I feel your whole memories card is full now?
It's all right, but yeah, but it's a nice story though. It's like two sides of a coin.
Yeah.
So like, oh my god, that's a very very cool story. That's a story that I want to hear also. It's like, you have the boyfriend, like the ex-boyfriend perspective, and you have the ex-girlfriend perspective. Like, fuck, that'd be fun. And then they're both there on stage as well. It's like, oh my god, will they get a fight, or will they like? Is there any contradicting stories inside? That I don't know. It sounds like fun.
It was. It definitely was. We had a lot of our fights on stage, actually, even besides the cheating. Yeah.
But do you heckle, or what?
No. It was just like No, so it's not literally we were fighting out we didn't have a battle or something, but we brought a lot of our personal stuff to the stage. Let me say it like that. And a lot of the stuff came from fights that we had, and turned out into material. Yeah.
Wait, I think is it because it's personal. That's why. Because you do quite a lot of personal stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I also do a lot of very personal stuff as well. That brought it up on stage. Yeah. And I think that's the best way to write a joke.
I like it. I like being personal. Yeah. I think it's a good way to write. I think it's a good way to connect with the people in the audience, because I think they always want to know who you are, or who it is that's telling them all this stuff.
But do you have one line that you draw that, okay, this part is too much that it will hurt the other party, or like maybe this bit it will hurt the other person? Will you still be doing it?
Ooh.
Or do you change the name inside, but you still do the same bit? Like, when there are jokes that I do.
Yeah.
I won't put my father's name in, but I will say, it's my father. And most jokes that I did about my father are pretty harmless for now.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Well, I've been conscious about that actually a few times, because I had a bit about my ex, like as I have now, like when I start talking about how my ex cheated on me, and how that is actually surprised me, because he was quite ugly. He had this thing. He always thought that he was ugly, and people made jokes of him that like he was the ugliest guy they've ever seen. But I didn't think he was ugly. But that was a sensitive thing for him. So I would never do that if he was around.
Oh, okay.
But when we broke up, I didn't give a shit anymore. And then I had to just tell him, like, yeah, it's a comedy. Don't take it shit so personal.
Okay, because there's comics that did very personal stuff on stage and get hurt everyone else.
Yeah.
And they realized it at the end, like very big stars, like very big comedians out there. So I'm not sure when would be good time to draw the line, and when it will.
Well, it depends what your goal is. If you really if you're only saying something because you want to hurt that other person, then it doesn't make sense. Unless he's in the room, then you have to be a big guy and do it where in front of him or whatever. I think you should do your shit off stage first. But yeah, if that's your main goal, to hurt this guy, I don't think that's a strong starting point for material. I think there needs to be more to it that you wanna say.
But how do you know that this will hurt the other person? You get what I mean? Because what if sometimes when you do things on stage,
it feels therapy also. It feels like you are resolving any issues that you have inside inside yourself as well.
Yeah, you shouldn't. No. I never. No, I try never to practice therapy on stage. I can be relieved sometimes to vent about something or to rant about something and get something off your chest, but it's never like that big of a thing that I would actually should be taken to therapy or something. I think when it gets to becoming therapy, when it's that personal and that sensitive to you, that's also a thing that makes audiences uncomfortable, probably. I think that's always a risk. You need to, I think you have to be over things that you talk about. Because, if it's like at any point you can just start bursting into tears, if an audience feels, they're never gonna laugh. Unless you have, like, you break with that feeling immediately and call call out on yourself or be like very harsh on, I don't know, whatever, but you have to make a really big break with that tension to get people out of that, because they feel with you.
I don't know, but I feel that when you do that on stage, like you be yourself, like you talk with like very personal stuff.
Yeah.
You can sometimes the audience member will be on your side as well, like very easily. Like,
Yeah. If you have their sympathy, you can say almost anything, and they stay on your side.
I don't know. I feel that's a good thing to have. That's like a nice thing to know that.
Yeah, definitely. It gives you like some kind of what's the word? I don't even know it in Dutch now. But it gives you like shit.
A sense of security or something?
Well, a sense of security, like you can't go wrong, like they accept you, acceptance. And also, I don't know the word. We'll cut it in later.
I would just...
Permission. They give you permission to do a lot of things, to discover your, like, go further and further. If they stay with you and you feel comfortable and you feel that they are on your side, it's easier for you to go further than you would have. It's the same with improv, right?
I guess so.
Sometimes you need permission to go to dark places.
But then again, I don't know, this is how I get my permission. I just go across the line and tell them, I've crossed the line. You have to say a line further, or you can just leave the room. So I'll just, okay, this is the line, and the line will cross even further. I'll just let them know that. So I'm like, I think I feel like a robber right now. I just break into people's house and just, this is the permission you have to give me. It's too late for you to turn around right now.
Yeah, okay, that can be a comedy style, but it's gonna be hard to ever do like 10 minutes or more. I think 'cause people will either walk out or you will just like you can make bold statements, of course, and if you want to shock people or just want to let them know that you don't give a shit, then I think it is in general a good state of mind. Like, you shouldn't give a shit as a comedian, but to just be out of pushing the limits or going over them just for the hell of it and expecting them to just be on your side or not even caring, that I think in the end you're not gonna hold up, because in the end as a comedian you need that laugh. You need if you don't get a laugh 5 minutes because you scared the audience and they're not laughing and you don't feel like they're gonna ever laugh again, you as a comedian you will lose, because that's what we are after. That's what comedy is about. We want that laugh, and we are actually eager for that laugh. If people don't laugh for like 2 minutes, we get very restless. So you can do that. You can do whatever you want, but you have to be really strong and confident to keep going for like however long you want, without that laugh, because that's gonna be painful.
It scares me sometimes, and sometimes as well.
Well, maybe you should try to be nice first. A little bit nicer.
Am I nice on stage? Am I? Do you feel
I don't
that?
think so. No, you can be a bit, as you say, like what you like, you just jump right in there, and yeah. That can
Because
someone is commenting now. Okay. No, but well, not necessarily unnice, but you don't come like there's not much time that we get to sympathize with you. I think.
So I feel like a little bit out of the place, or feel a little bit. I don't know. It feels like sometimes there can be like a little bit jarring because I talk things that is sometimes personal as well. I'm not sure and I'm not sure that I'm putting myself in a very good light also. So I'm not sure where I am right now. I'm telling what's funny, what isn't, and what sometimes whether.
Well, it's good that I mean, you're eager to try out and try to discover things and try different things, and you don't seem to be afraid at all, which is a good thing, I think. Like I would, as a foreigner, sometimes have problem understanding what you're saying, and that makes it hard for me to follow the logic in your material, and so that's what comes, like that's what's in my way most of the times when I watch you. I have to work too hard to figure out what you're doing. So yeah, I feel that if you should make it a little bit easier for the audience to understand and to follow your jokes. I sometimes feel like you jump to a conclusion that you've only been able to make because you've been thinking about it for half an hour or a day or 2 days, and then you've thought, oh no, I'm going to cut this out, and you leave a punchline that is very logic to you, but to no one else because they don't know what's been in between. So I feel sometimes you should check your setups a little bit more, like is all information in there that people need to get the punchline. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing out on something. I'm like, oh, did I not understand it, or is it just not there?
Okay, I see. I get it. Right. No one told me that my information is too good. No one told me. I don't. Sometimes I feel that my word economy is bad. No, it's not because I too little words, but too much words. So I'm like, oh okay, so maybe 10,000. Alright. Oh yeah, I'm gonna ask. So what makes you do stand up?
Yeah, well, I actually ended up in a competition I didn't even know was going on. My first open mic in the Amsterdam Comedy Cafe turned out to be an audition for a competition. I didn't know it was an audition. I just thought I signed up for an open mic. So I did that open mic, and then the next day they called me and they were like, okay, you're through to the finals. And I'm like, of what? I'm like, yeah, yesterday. And so, yeah, I ended up doing this competition, and which was really cool because it gave me a lot of stage time, because we were doing small tour with all the finalists and before the big final was actually on. So I got a lot of stage time right after I started, which was really cool. In a little of like, I was actually traveling comedian from like day one almost, which was really cool. Also a little bit too much maybe.
But what kind of jokes were you doing? Because I'm really curious about what.
When I started, I thought I didn't know too much about comedy. I thought I needed to come up with a new bit every time, and I didn't really work on material. I just sometimes tried them once or twice, and then I throw them away and did a whole different set the time after. So that's actually what I learned in that tour, because after there was always one comedian, like a real comedian, a professional comedian traveling with us, who was hosting the shows with all these talents. And he would actually, after 5 days, after 5 shows, he was like, I've heard like 5 different 8-minute shows of yours. What happened to all the, because I really like that one from show 2 and that one from show 5. And I was like, yeah, but I've told them already. And they were like, he was like, yeah, but you can tell, you have to actually work on them and make them better, and that's what comedy is about. It's not about coming up with new stuff. So, but my first bits of material were different. What was it about? It was, when I started, I didn't want to make any sex jokes, and I didn't want to talk about men or women things. And now I feel I end up, that's all I do.
Are you saying nothing?
But when I started, I didn't want to talk about sex, and I would never want to talk about women things and women stuff. And yeah, that's all I do now. So.
But
what? Okay, so do you consciously do that, or do you don't, or you do you like, hey, maybe?
Well, it's not like if I look at my Dutch shows, they're not all about like this kind of material. But because I'm here now, it's what people can relate to. So, like out of most of my Dutch material, this is actually the few things that are left that translate. And because I'm traveling more now, that's also, I mean, in any world, anywhere, people can relate to relationships, men, women, stuff, and sex, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable to them, they would still be able to recognize some things. So in that way, I feel that that's what's left for me to do. Although, I mean, of course, now I'm starting, like when I'm writing new material, it can also be about living in Asia or being an expat but yeah, the main thing now seems to be.
But why don't you want to start writing about men and women sex?
I didn't want, because I thought it was cliche, and I thought that all those, like everything was said about these subjects. I thought like and I didn't want to be that female comedian. Like it was this prejudice in Holland at least that women only talk about stuff like householding and tampons, like all the women stuff, babies, and I just didn't want to be. Maybe I didn't want to be a woman, so I didn't want to do all that stuff because I didn't want to be judged as like, oh, she's just another female comedian who's only talking about domestic stuff.
So you don't want to be put in a box where,
Yeah.
oh, she's another female comedian,
Yeah.
but you want to be like, hey, I'm Kristel Zweers.
Yeah, and I wanted to be different,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted to be one of the guys. And but the closer I got to myself, the more and more personal I became. It was actually ended up being about relationships or sex and that was also the material that worked best. So that's how I ended up doing it anyway.
But I'm gonna ask about being a female comic in Asia or even in Holland or anywhere else. Is there a huge discrimination, or do you, or is it like, because I've talked to like some other comics like Joanna. She says that being like a female comic, sometimes people go, oh, she's not funny. Then after a while, but you get all the press release from a lot of like magazines that say that, oh, she's the female comic that does this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are pros and cons, right?
Well, I don't try to be a female comedian. Well, although I am, of course. Actually, in Asia here is for me is the first time that I don't feel judged up front already because of I'm a comedian. In Europe and in Holland, it was always this prejudice that women can be funny. So you would already before you go on stage, you were on the losing hand already.
No.
So you had to work double as hard to actually be found funny and make people laugh. And for me, coming to Asia has been the biggest relief on that part. Like I don't feel any prejudice when I go on stage here in Asia
But
against women.
because I don't see the huge discrimination against women.
Yeah, there's not. I don't feel it here in Asia. No, only Jamie Kong in Hong Kong maybe. He thinks, and he actually, because we try to be there with the Comedy on Heels, me, Cheryl, and Joanna, and he actually literally said, well, no, female comedy doesn't. There's no audience for female comedy. That's what he said. And I think that's bullshit. I think in Asia, if there's an audience for female comedy anywhere in the world, then it's in Asia.
I think it's because he comes from the States as well.
Yeah, so he has this prejudice as well.
Oh.
Yeah, and I understand that, but it's not true for Asia. So just a pity that he won't see it.
I'm not. I do not know about, because I've seen that I always thought that female comics always lies in two extreme ends. Either you are very funny or you are not funny at all.
Yeah.
Because I know some female comics who are totally, because it didn't click with me.
Yeah.
I don't relate to as easily as
Yeah.
as I expected.
Well, and I think like a lot of women, as I started out as well, I tried to be too much like a man or something, and I feel like a lot of women do that. They feel like they have to prove something. They feel like, oh, women or men can talk about sex, so I can talk. They choose their subjects for the wrong reasons, only to prove that they can do it as well. They want to prove that they can swear on stage or whatever. I swear on the stage, I know, but I think it, in a way, it comes natural to me. Like I'm not doing that because I feel I have to do it because I wanna be as man anymore. And that's what I think. Like for a lot of women female comedians that I see, for me it just doesn't always feel sincere what they're doing on the stage.
I think.
I think they're just trying too hard, showing that they are tough. And you don't need to be like showing. You don't need to be tough to be a comedian.
But that's the whole stereotype, right? You either be weird, ugly, not accepted in society, and you have to be very very tough.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of American comedy, like the US female comics also does that. Like Amy Schumer, she's very out there. She's very vulgar.
Yeah.
You look at
Liza Lampanelli is tough. Yeah, most of them. Sarah Silverman is a little bit more.
weird.
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
And people would probably say that I'm tough as well, and I might be. I think I am in a way, but it's who I am. Like I'm not I don't feel I'm that much different off stage as I am on stage. So
you're the same person.
yeah, yeah. So
A
that's.
little bit uncomfortable for me personally.
I did put some clothes on, Gary,
You did.
especially for you. But so yeah, I don't know. I think the most important thing is to be sincere when you're on stage. Like you have to be true to yourself. For me, that's the thing, and I feel sometimes that women try too hard to be anything but themselves. Which is like, I don't want to generalize. It's not for all women, but there's some women that for me, the common thing that I don't like about it is that they try too hard not to be themselves.
I don't know. I like female comics who are very sincere. Joanna is very sincere.
Yeah, I like that as well. Yeah.
She's like a chatty person on stage.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like, oh, it's an Joanna off stage.
Yeah.
It feels like, oh yeah, it's the same Joanna that went on stage.
Definitely, yeah. I like that. I like it when it's when you really get to know a person. Even if you don't know Joanna off stage, you just feel that she's like that. What she's doing on stage. Yeah, I like that.
And even her persona on stage is also very endearing. Right? Hey, it's the person I can talk to at the bar, right? It's So I don't know. I feel like that there are too many female comics who went up there. I'm here. I want to bite your head off with my toughness.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can make a dick joke as well, and I go ho ho ho. Yeah, that doesn't do it for me. Like, okay, yeah, you can. Well, at least give me a good dick joke then. But no, yeah, I don't know. It's but we all feel like, but there's guys as well that are trying too hard and not being themselves. So it also happens for comedians, but just I don't know, just maybe that's sexist of me to say as well. But just as drunk women, I always have a little bit more of a. I always think it's a little bit more painful to see drunk women than to see drunk men. And it's the same though. So if I see and that's for me the same as comedy. If I see a woman who's trying too hard not to be herself, it's always a little bit more painful for me than when I see a guy who's trying really hard to not be himself. I get just as comfortable as when they're drunk.
But when I see like a drunk person, I'm like, oh, okay, I shouldn't be there, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit okay, it's a little cringy.
Yeah, it can really be embarrassing.
I don't know. That's But yeah, I'm gonna ask you about the pole dance.
Oh yeah.
The pole dance. It's
Sure, Gary, you
I-
want to go there?
Yeah, I can talk about it. I just don't need to see it, right? I just don't need to see it on stage, right?
But you were there, right, when I did it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool though. It's pretty cool. I don't feel uncomfortable
Okay,
because I've seen you quite a lot of times.
but
But-
not pole dancing.
Not pole dancing, but it's interesting though to see you like do pole dance.
Yeah, because you wouldn't really expect that I know how to do it, right? Would you?
No, I did.
Did you think I could do it?
I know that you can do it, but I don't
you
know
knew, yeah.
how you transit from this is jokes. Okay, now to like
Comedy.
Comedy.
Oh, to pole dancing.
to
yeah.
pole dancing.
Yeah. Yeah, I that came actually. I did that bit in Holland in my first one-woman show, and I actually learned pole dancing just for that show. So it wasn't like a hobby of mine that I thought, oh, I can bring this into my comedy. I actually learned how to pole dance to put it in my show. Yeah. Yeah, just because it was a big thing in Holland at that time. Like everyone all of a sudden started pole dancing, and you had all these pole dance classes, and it was all of a sudden it was totally accepted to pole dance, and it wouldn't be like, it's not, as I say in the material, in the joke as well, like the whole selling point was it was good for your self-esteem, so it didn't have to do anything with sex, but it was really good for your self-esteem to do some pole dancing, which I thought was really bullshit. I was like, huh? Wait.
But the way you transition it into like it when you do your set and you do like a pole dancing, it's a poetic transition. It doesn't feel like it's a vulgar thing to do.
No.
I think that's why that's why I love your pole dance bit, where you do it. It doesn't feel like it's it doesn't feels like it's a bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I will naturally laugh at it, but I don't feel like I have to laugh at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like there's a poetic thing, there's a poetic gesture inside, or there's a poetic bit inside. It does not feel like, oh, it's another sex joke. That's
No, because that's also because I justify it. Of course, it builds up to that. Like, I make it about vulnerability. Like, okay, I have lost my self-esteem over this ex-boyfriend cheating on me, and now it's damaged, and I need to regain my self-esteem. And that's how I ended up doing pole dance. So I think it's justified enough to start doing it, which makes it accepted, and also not seen as like, it's not like seen as a bit of comedy, because it's part of a storyline. And then because it is comedy, I feel you have to end in a comedic way. But it doesn't start off as a comedy material. No, it starts off as sincerely like, okay, this is what I learned because I need to become stronger as a woman or something. Like, and that makes it like vulnerable. I think people are totally on my side. They feel when I get like undressed myself, I hope they feel with me like, oh fuck you, yeah, this is what you need to do, otherwise you cannot do pole dancing. Oh my god, she's doing it, oh no. Without being embarrassed, but they do feel like, oh, this is a little bit uncomfortable.
But we are rooting for you though when you do the pole dance. This is one time where when you first go up on the pole dance, you fall.
Yeah.
And I think that you do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because it enforces the whole idea of like being
Yeah.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
And being personal, and we are standing on your side. We are at your page.
Yeah.
So we feel that, oh yeah, she's doing something she feel.
Yeah.
That's what we all can relate to.
Yeah.
And I feel that's a very nice thing to do. There's like, okay, so we are rooting for you to do it properly.
Yeah.
And it feels so satisfying to see you do it properly and do it really, really well. Fuck. Okay. I can do it. I'm with you. I'm like, yeah. So I don't know. I like watching that bit, like.
Thank you.
And feeling it like a one. Thinking it's like a one woman story.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, this is really cool. You're rooting.
She's actually doing it. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It feels like I'm with you. It's like there's a theme, there's a story that you're going along with. That
Yeah.
It's very enduring. It may be a little bit rocky, a little bit during middle because I'm like a little bit uncomfortable with some of the jokes, but I'm still along with you. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's nice. That's what I came here for. I don't watch comedy for the sake of joke.
Yeah, you
But
want to
I-
actually be part of a storyline
Yeah.
and sympathize with someone and
Mm.
bond with someone, right? That's what you do. You're bonding with an audience. Yeah. So thank you. That's actually a compliment that you felt that way.
But this is like an honest, like a honest point
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It feels like there's sometimes when a comic, I don't relate to comics who does jokes on stage. Like I can watch like 30 minutes of Anthony Jeselnik and I may get tired.
Yeah.
Get tired
Yeah.
because it's a joke punchline, set up punchline. And I like comics who
Tell a bit of a story.
and reveal a lot about
Yeah.
himself and be very vulnerable and be very personal and vulnerable on
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
And this is and you do that. It's like, oh fuck, I gotta be with her. I hope and along with her, oh shit, she failed.
Yeah.
I hope she gets better.
Yeah. Well, that's so sweet. That's cool. Yeah. Well, that's definitely. Then I can say that it succeeded. Yeah. That,
Yeah, so I don't know. That's why I when I watch a one woman story like when we did in Kilo,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
shit, that's a very that's like very good story. Like because I remember Jinx is like different jokes.
Yeah.
It doesn't have like a proper team to it. You have like a team to it. Joanna still had sort of like a structure and a
Yeah.
team to it.
Yeah.
It's all and I'm like, I don't know. I love all three, Jinx, yours, and
Yeah.
Joanna's special, like 3 hour, 1 hour. But when I watch yours and Joanna, I'm like, I'm rooting for you. I'm like, there's something for me to hold on to like, yeah,
Yeah.
go Kristel, go Joanna. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's true, and that's how we started off as well, right? So by being personal, you engage people, and yeah, they make it possible for them to engage with you and get on your side, and then you take them along.
But how? Okay, this is gonna be a little bit like weird question to ask, but how do you know you're on? How do you know they're on your side, or how do you know like, maybe I've took them a little bit too far, and how to get them back?
You feel that. You can. I think as soon as you lose them, you almost feel that immediately. Although it was funny because I just read like some quotes of Louis C.K. Yesterday, and one of it was like that you probably feel a lot of time you feel like you've lost it as a comedian on stage while you haven't lost the audience yet. So it sometimes feels worse for a comedian than it actually is. Then it's actually going, and you think, oh my god, I lost them, and then everyone afterwards is like, no, you didn't lost them. Oh, you still had them or something. So, but you feel, oh my god, they're not on my side anymore. I don't know. It can just be done in a second sometimes, and sometimes you start like your head's going spinning like crazy. Like, what did I do? How did I lose them? Normally people like that joke. How could I lose them on that joke? Did I just? Because sometimes it can just be like you pull up an eyebrow or something. Like you change something on your look or on your voice, or like it can be so subtle sometimes for people to just decide all of a sudden, no, not anymore.
It's like the whole paranoia set is like, what the fuck? What have I
Yeah,
done?
and then your mind's going like crazy. What did I do? What if didn't I look nice? Oh shit, maybe I should smile more. No, maybe I. And then you go, okay, when is my first bit of material that I'm sure that I'm gonna get them back? And then if it's as a comedian and you have a lot of material, you can always like, okay, maybe I need to throw that in now because I have to get them back before I throw away all my other material.
I don't know. But sometimes it's, I don't know, is it okay to let them lose them for a little while and give them back?
Yeah, but as long as you can get them back, and as long as you're sure you can get them back, because the longer they're not with you, the harder it's gonna get to get them back. And I think it's always a good thing to do a bit that makes you vulnerable or makes a joke out of you, or in order to get an audience back. Because there's something that they don't like about you. They think you're maybe too cocky all of a sudden, or arrogant, or they think that you think you're better than them or something. So you have to bring yourself down below them even for them to be able to connect with you again.
I think the question is I think the whole main theme for today's episode is like vulnerability. How to feel comfortable in being vulnerable.
Well, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. And it's for me that's most what comedy is about: vulnerability. And connecting with an audience.
I think that's what we all want, right? At the end
Yeah.
of the day, where all performers put aside,
Yeah.
be it music, be it theater, be it live stand-up comedy, or be it like shows and movies and so. You want to connect with audience. There's this
It
little
is,
thing.
but you don't always want to please them, and I think that's a total different thing, though. I mean, there's a lot of people think, oh, I have to connect with the audience, so I give them what they want. No, that's not necessarily what you need to do. I think as a comedian, you should do what you want and never do what they want or you think that they want you to do.
I think it's very condescending though to do what you think the audience members want
Yeah.
and not what you want, because
But it's a trap. I think most comedians at one stage, at one point in their comedy lives, are gonna trap into. Like I know I've done it, and I've seen a lot of comedians that I know have done it as well. Like there's one stage, like when you just starting to find out how you can make people like you and laugh about you. That's so addictive that that's all you want. You just only want them to laugh. Even about things that you don't even care about. So you lose yourself away, like you become like a slave of laughter. And I think later on in your career you need to step back from that again and not be the slave of your audience or the laughter, but just make them be your slave.
I don't know. I think that being an audience, I don't know, but when I do things on stage, I try not to pander. I try not to. I think this is what you want, have it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just want a little connection. But sometimes when you have that connection, you don't feel it as well. Like, what have I done wrong? Is it because I'm not doing this? That's why you don't like me? Come on, please like me now.
Yeah, then you start begging like, oh my God, please do you like this one? Please like this one.
I'll give $2 when I walk down and I see a homeless guy. Please.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing, like because we are slaves of the laughter, and it's can be so painful if there's no laugh that it makes us bend over and go for that joke that we think that they want to hear or whatever.
But then again, it's like, I don't know. It's like when people are smiling, you're there. I've forgot. I don't think I want the laugh anymore. I just want the attention.
Yeah. That's definitely true.
Yeah,
There's a difference. Like you can definitely feel, like even if they're not laughing, if they're still with you, that's a different feel than when they're not laughing and they're not with you as well. I mean, you can definitely feel the difference. And sometimes they don't need the laugh. You don't need the laugh. True. But it is a comedy show. So in the end, it is about, like, people do come to laugh. Even if they like storytelling and they like vulnerability, like they want to learn about you or learn about what you think or whatever. But in the end, they also want to laugh. You can, as a comedian, I think you should never forget that you're doing comedy and not poetry or storytelling or theater or drama or whatever. It's still comedy. So in the end, people do want to laugh.
I think, but you can't blame that sometimes that it's just you can do whatever you have in your toolbox.
Yeah.
To make them laugh.
Yeah.
But if sometimes they can't laugh, They can't laugh. I remember watching, like there's this one audience member that came out very recently only. There's one audience member came to watch the show.
Yeah.
He looks very miserable. He's like, and Sam and I was talking about him. He's like, and he was like looking. He looks very miserable. His hands are crossed. The both shows I saw him, yeah. I think Sam saw him once, but I saw him twice. He doesn't laugh
At all, yeah.
at all. He's like, fuck, why? I'm here for a show. Please make me laugh. Please, I've not laughed for 2 years. Please, I need that laughter.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
wife just left me. The count.
That can become sometimes, like even if a whole audience laugh, like 100 people can laugh, but if there's one on the front row that doesn't laugh, he's gonna be your main focus as a comedian. It's not necessarily what you need to do, because you should fuck him and whatever. Everyone else is having a good time, but all your attention is going to this guy, and you think, as long as he hasn't laughed, my show sucks. Whatever.
He's a guy.
You can't even enjoy your show anymore because there's this one person who's not laughing. That can be very annoying. Yeah.
I think that one person, he may be enjoying the show, but he doesn't laugh.
Doesn't
out
show
loud.
it. Yeah.
So
That happens a lot of the time. I'm not a big laugher myself. If I'm in an audience, I never
You don't
laugh
laugh?
out loud too hard. No, not too much.
I laugh out loud very easily.
Yeah, but you're a very nice audience. Good to have it as an audience as well. Yeah, no, I'm not a big loud laugher. Is that a word? Loud laugher. Yeah. No. So I know that doesn't always count, like how much noise people make, but you tend to
But
judge
that's
on that
how-
anyway.
That's how we judge, right? That's
Yeah.
Sometimes the light is so blinding. Like, what the fuck? That's
Yeah, you
that's
don't. Yeah,
how
yeah.
yeah. I don't know, man. I think that's that's the part where we sometimes screw ourselves. I don't know, it feels like it feels like there are people smiling, and sometimes I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I'm not sure whether I lose the crowd very easily. I was being told that there are times I lose the crowd. There's a lot of times that I didn't lose the crowd. So I was being told like, okay, so what happened to me right now?
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, even in the
And
same
we've
show.
been talking about vulnerability a lot, like now from the comedian side, but just imagine how vulnerable an audience is, especially here sometimes at Blue Jazz, where we have a small room. If there's just 15 people, it can be a really nice show, but these 15 people are very aware of themselves. They're very vulnerable because they know that we can see each and every one of them, and that makes them so vulnerable. So that also sometimes add to that they won't laugh too loud because they're just too aware of themselves, which doesn't mean that they can enjoy the show.
I think that's why intimacy itself it's a very good thing. Where you know I think that's why most comedy room it's a small room. It's intimate. People kind of like sit very close to each
Yeah.
other. They're really feeling very uncomfortable with each other. Like why is the guy sitting so close to me? Alright, he smells and all this kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
and when the laughter came, people and be like, oh yeah, he's sitting so near. He laughed. And oh yeah, that's
That's actually okay. And
That's
and
okay.
and when they're so close together, they become one almost, or at least they lose their own identity. Because if they're out in the dark and they're close together, they know that the chance is smaller that you would actually know when they laugh, or maybe they think it's harder for you as an audience to make a difference. Like, who was it? You only know like, oh, the laugh came from that direction, but you couldn't point out the exact person sometimes, and that's what makes them less vulnerable. So that's why it's so important to put people together and as close as they can, and have the room as dark as possible, just for them to feel
okay.
at ease.
Okay, I
It's
think
been an hour.
yeah, it's been an hour. Okay, all right. I'd like to say thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you.
Okay.
It was very serious, Gary.
I thought it'd be funny though, but we have a little bit like funny bits.
Sorry. Yeah. Maybe I'll come back another time and then we'll be funny. Okay.
We can do that. There's no there's no pressure. Hey, make laugh like 25 laugh
Now.
per minute.
Now.
laugh.
Joke.
All
So
right.
yeah, no. But no, I liked it. Thank you, Gary. Thanks
Okay.
for talking to me. Finally.
I
After
love
3
to talk
years.
to you, Kristel. I love to talk to you, Kristel. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm
thank
gonna
you.
show my boobs.